It is generally considered poor practice to install 4 piggyback breakers to free up space in the subpanel. Piggybacking breakers can create a fire hazard because they can cause the breakers to overheat and trip. In addition, it can be difficult to troubleshoot electrical problems when breakers are piggybacked. The best solution is to replace the subpanel with one that offers enough capacity for your needs. This means removing the existing subpanel and replacing it with a larger one, such as a 40/40 panel as suggested. This will give you the space you need to safely install all of the required circuits. Replacing the subpanel ensures that each circuit has its own dedicated breaker, preventing overloading and reducing the risk of electrical fires. Consider the total load requirements of the cabin. With 11 240 volts wall heaters, the electrical demand is likely substantial. It is crucial to perform a load calculation to determine the appropriate size for the subpanel and the service entrance. The load calculation should include all electrical loads, such as lighting, appliances, and the wall heaters. Using the load calculation, determine the total amperage required. This will help you select a subpanel with sufficient capacity. Consider future expansion. If there is a possibility of adding more electrical loads in the future, it is wise to choose a subpanel with extra capacity. This will prevent the need for another upgrade later on. Choose a high-quality subpanel from a reputable manufacturer. Ensure that the subpanel is rated for the appropriate voltage and amperage. Also, verify that it meets all applicable safety standards. 40/40 subpanel has 40 breaker slots, allowing for 40 individual circuits. This provides ample space for the existing circuits and any future additions. Check the National Electrical Code, or NEC, for specific requirements related to subpanel installations. The NEC provides guidelines on sizing, installation, and safety. Follow all NEC guidelines to ensure a safe and compliant installation. The conductors feeding the subpanel, also known as feeders, must be properly sized to handle the total load. Use the appropriate wire gauge based on the amperage rating of the subpanel. Refer to NEC Table 310.16 for ampacity ratings of conductors. Ensure that the feeders are protected by an appropriately sized overcurrent device, such as a breaker, in the main panel. This breaker should match the ampacity rating of the feeders. Grounding is crucial for electrical safety. Ensure that the subpanel is properly grounded according to NEC requirements. This typically involves connecting a grounding electrode conductor from the subpanel to a grounding electrode system, such as a ground rod or a metal water pipe. Bonding refers to connecting all metallic parts of the electrical system to create a low impedance path for fault current. Bond the subpanel enclosure to the grounding system. Use the correct size grounding and bonding conductors as specified by the NEC. When installing the subpanel, ensure that all connections are tight and secure. Loose connections can cause arcing, overheating, and electrical fires. Use a torque screwdriver to tighten connections to the manufacturer's specifications. Label each breaker in the subpanel to clearly identify the circuit it controls. This will make it easier to troubleshoot electrical problems in the future. Create an electrical panel schedule that lists all circuits and their corresponding loads. Post the schedule near the subpanel for easy reference. Consider hiring a qualified electrician to perform the subpanel upgrade. A licensed electrician has the knowledge and experience to ensure a safe and compliant installation. Obtaining the necessary permits is essential for any electrical work. Check with the local building department to determine permit requirements. Inspections are typically required to ensure that the electrical work meets code standards. Schedule an inspection after the subpanel upgrade is complete. Before starting any electrical work, always disconnect the power to the circuit at the main panel. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves, when working with electricity. Consider arc flash protection depending on the potential hazards involved. Educate yourself on electrical safety practices and procedures. This will help you avoid accidents and injuries. Never work on live electrical circuits. Always energize the circuit before working on it. Be aware of your surroundings and potential hazards. Work in a well-lit and dry environment. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician. Electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take precautions. It is important to use wire connectors to ensure secure and insulated connections. Use appropriately sized wire connectors for the gauge of wire being used. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing wire connectors. When routing wires, avoid sharp bends and edges that could damage the insulation. Protect wires from physical damage by using conduit or other protective measures. Keep wires away from heat sources and moisture. Ensure that all electrical boxes are properly secured and supported. Use appropriate fasteners to mount electrical boxes to walls or ceilings. Do not overload electrical boxes with too many wires. This can create a fire hazard. When running wires through walls or ceilings, use appropriate drilling techniques to avoid damaging structural members or other utilities. Be careful not to drill into pipes, wires, or other hidden objects. Consider using a stud finder to locate studs and avoid drilling into them. When working with electrical tools, follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Use the correct tools for the job and maintain them properly. Inspect tools regularly for damage and replace them if necessary. When installing electrical devices, such as outlets and switches, ensure that they are properly grounded. Use self-grounding devices or connect a grounding wire to the device. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing electrical devices. When connecting wires to electrical devices, use the correct wiring method. Connect the black wire to the brass screw, the white wire to the silver screw, and the green or bare wire to the grounding screw. Double check all connections to ensure that they are tight and secure. After completing the electrical work, test all circuits and devices to ensure that they are working properly. Use a circuit tester to verify that outlets are properly wired and grounded. Use a multimeter to measure voltage and current. Document all electrical work performed, including wire sizes, breaker sizes, and circuit layouts. Keep a record of all inspections and permits. Store this documentation in a safe place for future reference. If you encounter any problems or have any questions about electrical work, consult with a qualified electrician. Do not attempt to fix electrical problems yourself if you are not qualified to do so. Stay up to date in the latest electrical codes and regulations. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay informed of any changes. Attend continuing education courses to enhance your knowledge of electrical safety and best practices. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical system for the cabin. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, so it is important to take precautions and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns.